You crushed it on the more ambiguous, like case creative questions beyond the framework. Great job going in depth and making sure there were at least three factors that you evaluated and going deep into those with hyper-specific options and factors to evaluate. I think that was really impressive.
Welcome back to Management Consulted. Today, Alex and Sean are breaking down a classic McKinsey-style profitability case focused on Air Panama. You'll see how they diagnose the revenue challenge, structure the root causes, and think through the levers the way McKinsey interviewers expect. Whether you're targeting business analyst, associate, or experienced hire roles at MBB, this walkthrough will give you a clear picture of top-tier casing. Grab a pencil and paper and follow along to see if you can crack this case. If you haven't already, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any part of the rest of our McKinsey case series. Let's dive in.
Hi, Sean. Thank you so much for joining us again today. Hope you've been well. We have a really interesting travel and airline related case for you that I'm excited to kick off whenever you're ready.
Awesome. Yeah, ready to dive right into it. Huge fan of the travel and airline industry space, so ready to dig right in.
Absolutely. We will kick it off then with the case prompt. Your client is Air Panama, Latin America's second largest airline. The airline has a hub in Mexico City, and it flies to North, South, and Central America, as well as a handful of European and Asian destinations. Recently, several smaller airlines have expanded and are flying to North America directly, taking market share from our client and decreasing revenues and profitability, which is heading towards the red. Your job is to advise on what we need to do to increase revenue. Our customers typically come from two areas or profiles, which are frequent flyers who depart from Mexico City and throughput transfers to smaller cities throughout our route coverage network that go through the Mexico City hub. How would you approach this problem?
Okay, awesome. Yeah, super interesting case. In the airline realm here. So just to play back some key details here for you, Alex. Our client today is Air Panama, which happens to be LATAM's second largest airline. And really the focus for our client in terms of route coverage and route network is North America, Central America, as well as South America. And it sounds like there is some encroachment with several smaller airlines having expanded and flying to North America directly, taking market share from our client, ultimately leading to negative ramifications for revenue as well as bottom line profitability. So we'd really like to focus on advising on what we need to do to turn revenue around and increase this in the future. Does that all sound accurate?
Yep, that sounds like a correct overview of the case to me.
Great. Okay. A couple clarifying questions here for you, Alex. At the outset, is it all right to limit my analysis to assume that Air Panama's only main hub is Mexico City at this point?
Yep, that's a correct analysis to make. That's their current hub.
Okay, great. And then you noted that smaller airlines are flying directly to North America. Well, I'd assume, ultimately that affects several routes. I'd like to focus this case on restoring revenue, North America, or North American air traffic here only. Is that okay with you?
Yep, I think that is our biggest market threat, as we mentioned. So that's a good place to start.
Fantastic. Okay. So if you don't mind, Alex, I'm just going to take a moment here to gather my thoughts.
Yep, feel free to.
Okay. All right. So here's what I'm thinking about, Alex, at this point. Thinking, standard here for areas of analysis I'd like to dig into. So one being, I think, passenger volume, I think critical here from the revenue side. So thinking about share of traffic lost to nonstop competitors, thinking about the potential growth in connecting passengers via the hub in Mexico City. And also, I think some traditional airline metrics such as load factor by route and as well as time of year. On the other side here, with the revenue equation, thinking about pricing mechanisms and approach. So average fare by cabin, as well as route tier. I'm thinking about the effectiveness of dynamic pricing and fare segmentation, both very critical for running a healthy airline business at this point in time. And then also discount elasticity and the effect perhaps of promotional campaigns. Thinking about product differentiation, ancillary product pricing and what that looks like. I'm thinking about uptake of premium servicing and services. Really, is that something that is adopted by our customers and respected as a feature? I'm also thinking about loyalty program, tier usage, and redemption activity as well, and what that's trended like in recent times. And then finally, I think also critical from an airline standpoint is route and asset deployment. So aircraft utilization, really across peak and off-peak times, thinking about frequency and coverage, perhaps underserved routes. And then finally, the Mexico City hub throughput and what that looks like, and ensuring that's not a bottleneck and perhaps a reason for these other carriers to steal market share from us.
Absolutely. All of that sounds like a really good overview, Sean. Great direction there. And we're going to move on into our next question, which is, aside from the revenue part of the equation, what else should we be thinking about in this analysis?
Gotcha. Okay, just give me a couple seconds if you don't mind to jot down some thoughts.
Yep, feel free to.
Okay, awesome. So Alex, I'm thinking about in terms of other thoughts here for this case, I'm thinking about really costing as well as efficiency related approaches and thoughts of mine.
Mhm.
So starting with really fixed costs, what aircraft leases or the ownership structure looks like year after year, thinking about gate fees and really airport contracts that we may or may not have in place. And then also the salary for key staff and management positions as well as overhead. Moving on to variable related costs, I think first and foremost, always fuel cost um, per route and aircraft type. I'm thinking about crew hours. And then finally, things pertaining to catering and baggage, handling and cleaning costs, and what that looks like. And then finally, as I had alluded to with efficiency levers, I'm thinking about aircraft utilization across different time slots and routes. I'm thinking about turnaround time and on time performance. And then also, if we could dig into things pertaining to route level profitability and what the ultimate cost to serve figures look like.
Yeah, Sean, that all sounds like a good set of like cost related factors to look into. Totally makes sense on my end. Um, and now we're going to dive into some more quantitative analysis. So after evaluating some restructuring options, the VP of Network Design has come to us with a question that he needs the answer to by the end of the week. He needs to know whether to increase flights to New York City, which we already serve. This would mean that we would have to cancel our 2 daily flights to Mango, Brazil, as we need to use that aircraft to go to New York City. Here is some revenue information. Assume that costs are a wash between the two route options. Um, I have some information for you whenever you're ready.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So the plane holds 200 people. For the Brazilian run, we get 60% utilization at a ticket cost of $500. Whereas for the New York City trip, we could add 3 additional trips at a ticket price of $500, and utilization is currently 80% on these flights. How much revenue would we give up if we closed the Mango route?
Okay, gotcha. So I think for right now, focusing the analysis on the Mango route. I know you provided some New York City details, but we want to talk about lost revenue if we were to close and give up this Mango Brazil route. So starting with that, I know you had mentioned 200 people on the craft at a 60% utilization. That's going to give
Yep.
us 120 people uh, on average per craft per flight to this destination. And then so I would take that 120 set of individuals, multiply that by the per ticket price of 500, and then multiply that by 2. It sounds like we have 2 daily flights to Mango. So with that being said, we would get, just to make this easier to work with, 120 then times 1,000, and that would give us $120,000. There in giving up that revenue per day. So the minimum revenue that we would need to earn really from the NYC flight is that 120K figure. Otherwise, it really doesn't make financial sense to change this whole route setup and structure. So we need to identify, I think next, if we're going to dig into the NYC numbers, is there any cannibalization? Is there any competitive response? Is there a ding to our pricing and how this would affect our flights? So I think that all needs to be taken into account here as a second step to this analysis.
Absolutely. Sounds very much like the correct direction to me, Sean. And now we're going to dive into a little bit more about the New York City flight. So, across all of the New York City flights, including the new flights, we would expect the utilization to be around 70%. You can assume that we are currently flying 12 flights, and we also expect the price of the ticket to drop to $450 due to the competitive response of us launching new flights. Can you evaluate whether or not we should move forward with the route change?
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense there, Alex. Thanks for setting that up there. So what I'd like to do is really take what we're working with here in the current 12 flight per day analysis, and then adjust that with the new information, and then adding 3 flights there to a total of 15. So starting with the current as is picture, we have 12 flights. We have the, I believe, 80% utilization as mentioned, and then the $500 per ticket price. So I'd want to do 12 times 160 times 500. And then that would give us, my math here is correct, 6,000 times 160. And then working that out, that is going to give us a figure of currently $960,000. Additionally here, what I'd like to do is then what would be the change and what that would look like overall. So now we have 15 flights. We have a 70% utilization rate. So I would take 15 times 200 times 7. So 15 times 140. And the new ticket price with the impact there of cannibalization presumably would be $450. So we'd have, just to make this easier to work with, 140 times 15. Which would be, I believe, 2,100, and then 2,100 times 450 get us our final number there. So give me a moment just to tabulate that. And that looks like that's going to be 945,000. So overall, if you take into account the lost revenue from Mango, as well as the $15,000 loss on the NYC route from the additional flights, that would be a total loss of 135,000. So in essence, we really should not shut down the Mango flight at this point, as it decreases revenue. And we're also uncovering here that increasing the NYC flight frequency will also decrease per seat revenue, which is a key metric within the airline industry. It would be problematic not only from a revenue generation standpoint, but frankly, from an investor standpoint as well. So that could spell significant trouble. So perhaps if we don't shut down the Mango flight, we should refocus and redirect our efforts to alternatives that can help the client increase their revenue, perhaps including incremental revenue levers on the Mango flight as one example to pursue.
Absolutely. Sean, thanks for the quick math analysis. Totally makes sense. So with your new updated direction, if we're going to maintain our current Mango route, what could our client do to maximize the profitability of that route and really drive up that lever instead?
Sure. Just going to take 2 seconds here to jot down some thoughts. Okay, awesome. I think honestly, it goes back to a lot of the things that we have mentioned here, Alex. So I'm thinking about utilization as one key point. So we could change the aircraft type maybe that's flown to match proper demand. This is something we can really look to line up and meet the market demand properly. Perhaps consolidating the number of daily flights as well. I'm thinking about pricing. So fare differentiation by seat location and what that could look like. And also perhaps to be really specific here, geo-targeted promotions, based on the search origin, how you got to that route, how you got to the destination, right? And also by device type and what that would look like. And then also I think critical dimension would be add-on products. So you could do bundled offers with hotels, rental cars, transfers, really anything for those route-specific travelers. Then also in-flight retail, as well as entertainment-related purchases that I think could help, boost this through potential partnerships as well, and really boost that revenue per passenger figure ultimately.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much for that overview. Lots of different levers that to potentially pull there. Moving on, our client has ended up asking for a formal recommendation. What would you like to say to them?
Yeah, so we came in today with our goal to help our client determining how to increase revenues across its flight network, specifically examining the profitability of current routes. I recommend we move forward by limiting the flights to Mango, Brazil to once daily from the current 2 per day, or or modifying really the plane type to better fit demand ultimately. This change should maximize profitability on the route and free up some aircraft. But I would not recommend, on the other hand, replacing the Mango route with additional flights to New York City at this point in time. The biggest risk is how customers will react to the network change. And hopefully there's a negative there that would come about there from this adjustment. So some next steps would include surveying perhaps most loyal customer base, who's kind of been flying these routes consistently, and then what that would look like to gauge some estimated responses. Assess viability of other alternative options such as changing prices or anything we can do to boost revenue ultimately. And then also, I think evaluating full scale implementation risks for the ultimate plan that is laid out here to adjust the network.
Absolutely, Sean. Well, that concludes the case. Fantastic job. You absolutely killed it. I have a couple quick points of positive feedback. I think the first being absolutely, you crushed it on the more ambiguous, like case creative questions beyond the framework. Great job going in depth and making sure there were at least 3 factors that you evaluated and going deep into those with hyper specific options and factors to evaluate. I think that was really impressive. And then beyond that, great job on the math. You kept everything quite efficient, and I could follow your process very logically. So fantastic job overall.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Alex. It was a really interesting case getting to work with again in the aviation space. So thanks so much for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care.
Thanks for watching this case. If you found it helpful, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next case in the series. And if you're getting ready for interviews, the fastest way to improve is to work directly with an expert. We have an amazing team of MBB coaches here at Management Consulted. Check the links below to get started.